We now turn to a troubling story, this time out of Detroit, where legendary surgeon and former presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson had his name removed from a public high school following a recent vote from a far-left school board. In the statement, the school district told us, quote, in part, community members have been expressing concerns regarding how under emergency management, the school's name was changed to Ben Carson Emergency Management, was imposed governance, a structure that did not represent the voices of Detroiters or their vote. They added, quote, to the concern regarding how the name was changed was the fact that many people in Detroit felt that Dr. Ben Carson's political positions and decisions as a policymaker did not reflect Detroiters, and therefore a school should not be named after him. Back in 2018, by the way, the school board member leading the charge told the Washington Post, quote, it is synonymous with having Trump's name on our school in blackface. Now, let's be clear. Dr. Carson is an inspiration to so many, has an outstanding record of accomplishment inside and outside of the hospital that he worked in. He saved many lives in the course of his career. He should be praised and celebrated, not smeared and slandered just because he happens to be a Republican. And by the way, in a new piece for Fox News, 55 individuals that worked for Dr. Carson collectively write, quote, Dr. Carson is the epitome of the American dream. Only in our country could a poor boy from the inner city go up to be a world-renowned neurosurgeon, presidential candidate, and cabinet secretary. He personifies the very promise of America, but to the far-left lunatics inside America's school boards, well, only one thing matters, whether or not you have a D next to your name. And Dr. Ben Carson joins me. You know, I think what bothers me the most about this is, number one, I know you and I'm friends with you, and number two, synonymous with having Trump's name on our school in blackface. Dr. Carson, nobody should have to put up with that.
It's very sad that we've reached a point where political ideology trumps the whole purpose of an educational institution. And we're seeing this wokeness spreading throughout our community to the destruction of our community. How does it do any good for us to demonize people with whom we disagree? And to teach that to our children at a time when the math scores are down, the reading scores are down, academic performance is down. In many of our public schools and high schools, people are graduating from high school are functionally illiterate. You know, they can't fill out an application. They can't read the directions in a product that they buy. And sometimes they're left in a situation where it's very difficult for them to make a living. We're failing them by pushing this ideology. And that's one of the reasons that at American Cornerstone, we have pushed the Little Patriots program, teaching children what they should know about the principles of who this nation is, what our history is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But if you look at it objectively, there's a lot more good than there is bad and ugly. But we need to teach that to our children and those principles. And littlepatriotslearning.com, a free program because we get wonderful people to underwrite it. We want to change this whole narrative, and we need an indoctrination, an inoculation to indoctrination, and that's why we've created that program.
And
I should
Dr.
also
Carson,
mention also that through the Carson Scholars Fund, we've put in over 250 reading rooms throughout the country, primarily in Title I schools where a lot of kids come from homes with few books, go to schools with little budget for a library. They don't become readers. If you can become proficient reader at grade 3, it changes the trajectory of your life. That's what we need to be concerned about.
And that's the story of your life and your mom forcing you to read and not hang out with kids in the street, and stay inside and do your work, and it changed your life, transformed your life. What your mom did for you will work for any child if given the opportunity. Dr. Carson,
Absolutely.
thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.